BLM land is lands that is managed and owned by the federal government. It stands for the Bureau of Land Management. And any of these federal places, BLM land, you're able to use and to stay on for up to 14 days in most places. You can go to this website and take a look at all of the maps in the United States of where there is BLM land. I will say, however, that most of the BLM land is in the West and, of course, Alaska. Without looking it up, I've forgotten, but I think Nevada is like 2/3 of it is BLM land. So you can find places to stay there. It's pretty open. You have to kind of like find roads and stuff that people that have gone before you. You can find places that have fire pits. You know, somebody has been there as well. But this land, like I say, it's owned and managed by the federal government, and they do allow you to stay up to 14 days. There is a place between Cottonwood and Sedona, Arizona, and it was a big BLM place in the winter. Lots and lots and lots of RVs, travel trailers, you name it. And Sedona and Cottonwood, I guess, got together, and it is BLM land, but they got together, and the BLM land is managed by a federal park ranger, I think it's called. Anyway, they got together and didn't, for whatever reason, didn't like all those RVs there. And so the park ranger went in and they made places. I think there's only 8 places there now, and they're close together. So it's really beautiful, but you're not allowed to park on the grass. So they make these places for you to park, and so everybody has to park in the same place. They're not really what you would consider the typical boondocking on BLM land, but the park rangers are responsible for making sure that the wildlife and you know, the trees and the plants and whatever aren't disturbed and damaged by boondockers. And so apparently in that area they thought they were, which leads me to say that if you're staying on BLM land or any other public land for that matter, make sure you pack it in, pack it out. Don't leave any trace, or they'll start taking away a lot of that from us. You can't build any permanent structures, however. Now, I'm sorry to say that in, I believe it was that American Mine Girl, which is right on the border of Arizona and California in the southern part. I stayed there a few times, and one of the last times that I was there was a structure that I went to look at, and apparently someone who was boondocking, you know, stayed there, and they built like a chicken coop or something. I don't know. Somebody said they were probably cockfighting or whatever you call that. I don't know. That's not really the way I would say it. So when you stay on BLM land, please don't abuse it, because if you do, then the federal government will say there's too much going on there, you'll get a lot of complaints, and it will be taken away from us. Some other federal lands are also like natural preserves, bird sanctuaries, all of those places that you can stay at for free as well. Anything that's managed by the federal government and is commonly known as BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. It's a lot harder to find BLM land or federally owned land in the east. I don't know, maybe the line is the Mississippi River, I don't know. But in the west, there's a lot more government-owned land. When you're in the east, you have a lot more difficulty finding BLM land to stay at because it's just not there. But there is some, and take a look at this map. and you'll see. But remember, if nobody's gone there before you, then it's kind of hard to find places to get off the road. There's logging companies that sometimes, I don't know, maybe they log on the BLM land, I don't know what the rules are, but make roads, and most times they're okay with you going on them, but sometimes they're not. And then there are roads built through the BLM land to get to lakes and preserves, as I talked about before, and you can use those roads easily. But in the east, it's harder. So look at the map and find some alternative places in case you can't find any BLM land.